Chapter 3. Detective Earl Stewart and his partner, Joe Brown, found themselves at a loss for explanations. Just moments ago, the GPS tracking device embedded in Detective Brittany Starlight's shirt had been sending out a strong signal. Then, inexplicably, it stopped working. The entire signal vanished. Stewart struggled to maintain his composure, a challenging feat given that he and Brittany were engaged to be married in a few months. He despised the fact that she undertook such dangerous undercover work, but it was her job, and she had been working undercover long before they became a couple. Not to mention, she was the best in the department. Stewart could only hope that she was skilled enough to stay alive until he could find her. Frustrated, he slammed his fist down on the steering wheel.
Damn it, Brown. We need to figure something out. Brittany's life depends on us getting to her in time. What the hell happened?
Detective Joe Brown was at a loss for words. He had known from the start that the tracking device was a bad idea. The department simply lacked the resources to purchase the latest state-of-the-art equipment, so they had modified their outdated GPS gear. The problem was straightforward. The older models were designed for tracking vehicles, not people. The device used on Detective Brittany Starlight was a smaller, cheaper version. It was practically useless. It felt as if Brittany had been set up for failure. Brown listened patiently, allowing his friend and partner to vent his frustration. He knew they would find her, eventually. As Detective Stewart drove the unmarked patrol car through the suburban neighborhood, his thoughts drifted to memories of Brittany.
Are you sure you want to do this?
He had asked her once, always trying to protect her, even from herself. They had stood inside a tattoo parlor contemplating a design.
Of course, silly.
Brittany had replied playfully.
You don't think we made this trip for our health, do you? Besides, you said you would pay for it. How could I pass up such a great deal?
When the tattoo artist approached, they fell silent. Stewart assessed the man, thinking to himself how perfectly he fit his profession. The nose ring looked as if it weighed a pound, and the holes in his ears were the size of quarters. The artist's arms were covered in tattoos from fingertips to shoulders. Surprisingly, the artist extended his hand to Stewart, who accepted the gesture and felt more at ease when the man spoke articulately and professionally. He presented Stewart and Brittany with a portfolio of his patterns and past work.
Take your time. Call me when you're ready.
As the artist turned to leave, Stewart noticed the lingering glance he gave Brittany. He wasn't surprised. It happened all the time, and he had grown accustomed to it. That was the price one paid for being with a beautiful woman. 10 minutes later, the artist returned.
Find anything you like?
He asked Brittany. She looked up at him, disappointment etched on her face as she handed back the portfolio.
I really wanted something more personal.
Well, I can draw up anything you like. I am an artist, remember?
He reminded her, with a hint of flirtation. Brittany turned to Stewart, seeking his input. When he didn't suggest anything, she playfully poked his stomach.
How about your initials?
Stewart offered.
I like it. I'll make the letters BS inked original, and I'll put a star directly above the two letters.
But in her mind, Brittany thought,
Fuck, it won't mean Brittany Starlight. It'll stand for brightest star.
I could do that.
The artist interjected.
In fact, it wouldn't take but a few minutes to draw.
Stewart joined the conversation, pulling Brittany close to him, a gesture of ownership.
Now all you have to do is decide where to put this tattoo, and don't forget about work.
Brittany's expression went blank for a moment as she pondered Stewart's reminder about work. Then she smiled and said,
My lower leg, just above my ankle.
The artist led them to his station, and they watched as he brought Brittany's design to life. 10 minutes later, Brittany sat in the chair, gritting her teeth against the slight pain of the needle. The finished piece was indeed original, one of a kind.
Stewart! Stewart!
Detective Brown exclaimed, snapping Stewart out of his reverie.
What's up? Do you see something on the monitor?
Regretfully, no. The monitor is still blank. You just looked like your mind was miles away.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Stewart mumbled.
I ain't tripping. I just don't want you to hit any of these snotty-nosed white kids, that's all.
Brown understood that his partner was hurting inside, but there was nothing he could do or say to ease the pain. All he could do was help locate Brittany before it was too late.